The narrative is this: it's prescription caps, it's money for first-time buyers, etc. It's playing very much to the middle class. The question would be, the accusation back is this is interventionist economic policy. I just wonder, do these kind of policy narratives embolden her in the swing states?
Thanks for having me on again. Since the last time I was on, nearly 1 month has passed since Harris has entered this race, and she continues to outperform expectations. If we think back to earlier this summer, even just a month ago, the real narrative that Democrats were facing was, would President Biden step out of the race? If so, who would step in? And if it was Vice President Kamala Harris, would she be able to be that torchbearer for Biden after pretty middling favorability ratings herself for many, many years? And now, as the Democratic National Convention gets underway, Bonnie said it was electrifying in the audience there. Democrats have really turned the page, and it's showing, as you say, as you reflect in that quote that I have, for Kamala Harris in head-to-head polling, in swing state polling on this all-important issue. She laid out her economic plan last Friday, where she talked about an opportunity economy. We hear this morning she's talking about 28% corporate tax rates. But the messaging is breaking through, the messaging of looking to the future, moving forward. And we see that in fundraising halls. And we see that overnight at the DNC. And the DNC will continue to be a big test for her and her campaign. Conventions tend to be energizing, electrifying moments, but it will be a real glimpse into whether Harris can hold together the party around these fault line issues like Israel-Gaza, and whether she can finish strong over the last couple of months in the way that she has started this campaign.
Still, though, I mean, one of the things that was maybe telling was they were 30 minutes delayed, and officials said that it was because of the raucous applause that they had to delay by 30 minutes. So that might be telling of what the atmosphere was there. But Lindsay, as she lays out more policy and fills in the gaps, it does leave her more vulnerable to criticism. And we have seen that in the various economic policies laid out, from housing to price gouging and now increasing the corporate tax. What do you make of the rollout of policy and the details that she is giving or isn't giving?
What's really interesting about that, Dani, so the Democrats, as is standard practice, they released their party platform on Sunday, and they did not update the party platform for the change in leadership at the top of the ticket, right? This is a party platform that they released that had been approved on July 16th before Biden stepped out of the race. So what this tells us, really, it lays bare something fundamental about what's going on here in this campaign. This is about the energy that Harris has brought to the campaign, but this is not really it's not yet clear that this is the Harris Democrats, right? Like the Reagan Republicans. This is about something bigger. This is about Democrats having their eye on ambitions for November of defeating Trump at all costs. And we will, of course, see Kamala lay out policy as we did last Friday. We have to expect more of that with the debates coming up, with more of the direct, she's going to be in more direct contravention, in more direct interaction with Trump over the last couple of months post-Labor Day. But this is really about atmospherics for the Democrats, about turning the page, moving forward. And we're seeing a very different tone than what we saw. We even saw a glimpse of it last night in Biden's speech, where he essentially gave the convention speech he would have given if he was accepting the nomination, highlighting his greatest hits and also talking about the threats to democracy. That's not what we're hearing from Harris and her campaign.
Let's just reflect back on something that Dani touched on, the corporate tax policy. This is just one piece of what one can say is quite a tight piece of policy. She's backing the continuation of a narrative from Biden, which is to raise corporation tax to 28%, more than the United Kingdom. And that's saying something. Trump has flown the kite that he'd like to get it to 15%, and obviously reduced taxes in the previous administration. Where does that 28% mandate win? Where does that win her votes?
Yeah, Manus, I think it's earpiece day over here as well. What I would say is, it's an interesting piece of news that she's decided to come out today and back Biden's policy decision to do 28%, when we see, as you say, that Trump is moving in the opposite direction. This is a very significant point of policy differentiation that she is apparently comfortable with backing. And, we will see whether it turns out to be a decision that gains her that wider umbrella of votes that she needs, casting a wider net over the Democratic Party that she needs, because she is focusing in on this narrative of honing in on supporting the middle class, making sure housing, making sure college is more affordable, making sure those pocketbook issues really are heard for the middle class, and trying to differentiate with President Trump, who is focusing in on the corporates and the wealthy individuals.